Hey VC, it's me again. You know, years ago, one of the first VC vinyl community videos I ever saw on YouTube was David Seqouiaflame showing his Frank Zappa collection. And it was the first video where I'm watching it and I'm going, I could do that. Well, you know what? Finally, I'm going to make my Frank Zappa collection video. Just vinyl records. It might be a long video. I'm going to try not to babble too much. But Zappa made a lot of records, and I've got almost all of them up through the 80s. I'm not going to show any CDs. But so, David, Seqouiaflame, this is for you. Cheers. Proud to call you my friend. Too bad it doesn't look like we're going to be able to hook up in May. Next time. I hope so. Alright, let's just get started. Frank Zappa. If you've watched my channel since the beginning, you know I have a love-hate relationship with Zappa. I had a bunch of records in like junior high and high school, and then went off to school and I sold them all, and then bought them all back after moving here to Nashville. So, Zappa's debut record with the Mothers of Invention, Freak Out, from 1966. I spent several hours on Discogs trying to sort out just like these early pressings. God, it's really this appears to be late 60s pressing. It's on the blue and silver T label. It's a nice shape, stereo. Yeah, I mean, has there ever been a more audacious debut or a double album? Yeah. Anyway, Freak Out. I really think these Verve records are kind of essential. Here's the second one, The Mothers, Absolutely Free. Let's see, okay, here, yeah. This is a later pressing, as I recall. Yeah, it's a black and silver label, probably from the 70s, but that's okay. You know what, I'm just going to show these. It's really hard to talk about them. We're only in it for the money. 67, I believe, still 67. I believe the story goes Zappa wanted this to be the cover, but Verve was afraid of the Beatles suing. And this, of course, we're only in it for the money, is classic Mothers. This is an early blue and silver label. Alright, this one, if you've been watching me, you know this has been a grail for me. It took me forever to find a halfway decent copy of this one. Lumpy Gravy. First album under his own name. This is from 68, I believe. And it's original US pressing. Probably not original. Not sure. It's a black and silver. I don't care. The jacket is beat, but the vinyl plays fine. And it's definitely one of his weirder records. Lumpy Gravy. Took me a long time to find that. At least I'm done. Alright. Cruising with Roomin' and the Jets. Also on Verve. Although it's the first appearance of the Bizarre label. And now the story goes that some people actually believe that this was some sort of lost doo-wop group, although there's all these clues. It was different in the 60s. Let's see. This is a blue and silver Verve copy. And if you didn't know what you were listening to, you might think this was a straight up doo-wop record. But the last track, it's definitely Zappa on guitar, and come on. All right, here's a classic, Uncle Meat. This is the first Bizarre Reprise release, I believe. This is a really nice copy. It has the booklet. And it is, gatefold. This is what, 69, I believe. And it's an original, the original Bizarre Reprise were on this sort of turquoise and green label. And I went out of my way to get original pressings of these things. Yeah, Uncle Meat. He's getting real ambitious. There's like orchestral stuff, and it's, another audacious double album from Frank. One of his better ones, I think, musically and overall. It's an overall listening experience. Now, here we have a classic. Cheers. The first Hot Rats. This is Zappa at his most musician-y and almost kind of fusion-y. His most listenable. It's mostly instrumentals, although there's a Captain Beefheart vocal on Willie the Pimp, I think, right? And this is again a Blue Label reprise, Blue Label Bizarre reprise. This is great. This stands up. A lot of his stuff. That's kind of my criticism. Is a lot of his stuff hasn't aged well. But that Hot Rats record, great. And as are these like Weird Mothers records that came out on Bizarre Reprise. Burnt Weenie Sandwich. This is again, I think, 69. But earlier recordings, I believe. It's, Zappa was mining his massive, tape library he was already putting together. Here's another one of that series here, Weasels Rip My Flesh, classic cover there, right? This is a really nice minty original. Bizarre Reprise, this is probably came out in 1970, yeah. Again, it has some great instrumental stuff on it. Yeah, cool. And Chunga's Revenge. Which is a little more of a mixed bag, as I recall. Yeah. All right. This is nominally a Jean-Luc Ponty record, but it's the music of Frank Zappa, so I keep it with Frank's records. Jean-Luc Ponty plays the music of Frank Zappa, King Kong. On this is World Pacific Jazz. This is an original on World Pacific. It's a little beat. But Friday Music, now I know Friday Music's a dodgy label for sure. They did a reissue of this back in, a few years ago, but back when Kevin Gray was cutting the lacquers, and this really does sound pretty good. No doubt a digital source, but Kevin Gray knows what he's doing, and lacquers and pressing is really where the rubber hits the road when it comes to vinyl, so I keep this as a play copy. Wouldn't mind finding a clean original, because again, Zappa's instrumental music for me is over the long haul, the stuff that lasts, whereas the jokey stuff gets old. Here's 200 Motels. This is on United Artists, soundtrack to a movie that was like barely released. I don't even know what the state of it is on like DVD or Blu-ray. This is again some crazy orchestral and musique concrète and stuff like that. To tell you the truth, I haven't listened to it in many years. I may never listen to it again. There are a bunch of these records I may never listen to again, but I'm going to keep it. It's a pretty decent copy. Not something you see every day. All right, here's something it took me a while to find a clean copy. I mean, you see this around, but it's often just trashed because it's a white cover, this matte white cover. This was originally in its shrink wrap. So the Mothers, Fillmore East, June 1971. Frankly, not. It's a Blue Label reprise. One of my least favorite records, frankly. Flo and Eddie, they do Happy together, and it's. I don't know what to say. Moving on. Another one I'm not a huge fan of. The Mothers, just another band from LA. Now, this does have Billy the Mountain on side one, which is just freaking ridiculous. Again, this is Blue Label reprise, bizarre reprise. All right, so some silly stuff, and then this is a record that stands up, the Grand Wazoo. Again, mostly instrumental, but in a jazz kind of bag. It gets into this period where George Duke starts playing with him, and Ruth Underwood and people like that. And again, this is the original Intersleep, and it's a Blue Label bizarre. Yeah, Grand Wazoo. This is good. And another good one, Waka Jawaka, Hot Rats 2, basically Waka Jawaka. This is another mostly instrumental jazz fusion thing with I'm pretty sure George Duke's on this. Yeah. This is one of my favorite Zappa records. All right, so there ends the bizarre reprise era, and he performs another label through Warner Brothers called Discreet. And the music takes a decidedly more commercial turn. Which one is this? This is Overnight Sensation. It's what, 1973, 4, something like that. Anyway, this would be around the first Zappa record I heard as a little teen, and as a little band fag, jazz classical snob. This was like rock music that I thought was like, oh god, this is so great, and it's funny, But I was so young that I didn't get a lot of the jokes, to be honest. And a lot of the jokes, Dynamo Hum, I don't know. But George Duke and John Ponte and some of the music still holds up, although the words. This I like a lot better. Roxy and Elsewhere. It's a live record. And mostly live. But with that great band with George Duke and Tom Fowler and Ruth Underwood on marimbas and stuff. This is actually not a white label, but it's a promo label. You can see it says promotion not for sale. Not something you see a lot of for Frank's records, and so the cover's pretty beat, but the vinyl is near mint and sounds really, really good. This is a really nice live recording, and it's just, I don't know, for me musically, like side 2, the whole Village of the Sun thing is great, and this instrumental passage and the Cheapness and Son of Orange County, More Trouble Every Day, it's really, I don't know, it holds up on record. Now, they finally released the Roxy movie, which is worth checking out, and especially because it describes the nightmare it was to put it all together, which is why it never came out at the time. It took massive computing power, actually, to make it watchable. You get to see George Duke and Ruth Underwood and Chester Thompson, and but you also get to see some silly shit. Okay, here's Apostrophe. This is a first pressing, 1974, on Discreet. Really nice minty copy. This is one of his more famous records. Don't Eat the Yellow Snow and all that stuff. I don't know. I'm telling you, he starts to go off the rails a little bit for me here. One size fits all. Again, this is kind of an upgrade on Overnight Sensation for me anyway, because there's musically, Inca Roads is on this record, which is one of his crowning achievements, I think, and the guitar solo on there, I think, is one of the first times he started experimenting with flying in live recordings into studio recordings for things like guitar solos and stuff like that. Another great cover. Yeah, that's, you know. Here is, what is this called? Bongo Fury with Captain Beefheart. Live recordings from the Armadillo World Headquarters in Austin, Texas, May 20th and 21st, 1975. To be honest, I don't love this. But it's a nice clean copy of it. Nice original. Yeah, I don't know. Muffin Man. It's a nice closer. Alright, we're whipping through this. I don't want to waste anybody's time. I just want to show these records. Zoot Allures. Now, this is on Warner Brothers proper. You know, he forms discreet, and already he's at war with his record company, Warner Brothers. And this is, he takes another turn towards like a really commercial kind of sound, and he's got a new band with Terry Bozzio and Patrick O'Hearn, and there's some stuff on here that it's so nasty. Yeah, it's so contemptuous. It, you know, Disco Boy, and wind up working in a gas station. Find her friendly little thing. The instrumentals, again, there's some wicked guitar playing on this, but the lyrics are starting to take on this really kind of nasty edge that Zappa in New York. This came out in what, 77. Live recordings from the Palladium in New York. Double album, again, a mixed bag as far as I'm concerned. There's some great instrumental stuff on here and some really stupid stuff. But, you know, Titties and Beer, I thought that was so hilarious when I was like 15. In fact, I had it memorized. You know, so, you know, what can I say? All right, now here, so this record and the next three I'm going to show, he's battling with Warner Brothers because he wants to put out this massive 5 LP box set called Lather, A with a umlaut. And Warner Brothers balks, and they wind up releasing it as several different albums. Now, frankly, I like the way these came out, although they have zero discographical information on them, but they have these neat Gary Panter covers. Here we have Studio Tan. This has Gregory Peccary, the sidelong kind of follow-up to Billy the Mountain, which is pretty funny. And some nice instrumentals on the other side, revised music for guitar and low-budget orchestra. Yeah. And there's Sleep Dirt, one of my favorite Zappa records. So this is kind of more, I don't know what to say. This is kind of in a rock vein, but instrumental, all instrumental. Although the CD, he put some vocals on it that ruin it, as far as I'm concerned. And the CD of Lather has those tracks, not these. This is another Zappa record that I still pull out once in a while. It's got, you know, things that I really like about Zappa and his guitar playing. And then there was Orchestral Favorites. Came out in 1979. And so these are orchestral pieces for the most part. Alright, so he battles with Warner Brothers, basically loses, and forms another record company, Zappa Records. And puts this out in 1979, Chic Your Booty. Now, I'll always have a fondness for this record because I got it right when it came out. And, you know, I was super excited about Zappa and everything, and I just thought that mixing console and that pack of cigarettes and that cup and that lighter and that hand and that text and the whole thing was just so fucking cool. This parts of it are horrible, but side 4 with Wild Love into Yo Mama. Yo Mama has some of the most ferocious guitar playing on record. Yeah. And then we have Joe's Garage, Act 1. He's really getting silly here. Here's Acts 2 and 3. Double album on Zappa Records. This is what, 1979? Yeah, I mean, he just wants to put out 4 records a year. God, some of this is horrible, but Watermelon and Easter Hay, I know this is one of the more touching and beautiful instrumentals that, his music can come across as cold, particularly in this period, but, that's... All right. Canadian 12-inch, If I Don't Want to Get Drafted, from, 1980? When was this? 79, 1980, I guess this is a response to Reagan being elected. I don't know. Is this trip really necessary? In the US, it was a 7-inch. Tinseltown Rebellion. So he's formed another new record company here now, Barking Pumpkin. Double album from 1981, mostly live, but by this point he's, mixing studio and live recordings. And there's some moments on here. I saw him around this time at the Hartford Civic Center in Hartford, Connecticut. And should I tell that story? Yeah, why not? I was so disappointed. I was way into his guitar playing, and I was already getting kind of tired of the jokey stuff. And I'm way in the back at this giant, hockey rink, and he's prancing around in these pink lame pants or whatever, and holding the microphone and singing these stupid songs, for an hour. I mean, literally. And then I can see down above the stage, and I can see his roadie who's polishing the guitar and tuning it up, and the band's just vamping. And of course it's Inca Roads, right? And the guy brings the guitar out, and Frank's lit a cigarette, and he's just leaving everybody waiting, and he gets up on this platform and he wails away for 5 minutes, and then the supplicant comes and takes the guitar from him, and it's back to singing Titties and Beer or whatever. It was the beginning of the end of my love affair with Frank Zappa. But there we go, Tinseltown Rebellion. Sorry about that. Speaking of guitar playing, this is what got my hopes up, I guess, was Shut Up and Play Your Guitar, 3 LPs and a box of nothing but guitar solos. Almost all of them from Inca Roads. Live. This so impressed me when I was a kid. Nowadays, not so much. He did his thing, and what more can you want from someone? But yeah. By this point in my life, I really did want him to shut up and play his guitar. But that was not to be. Here is this Them or Us? No, You Are What You Is. This is from 1981. See, he's just cranking them out. This record's not terrible. There's some, again, there's some good things and a lot of dreck as far as I'm concerned. And you might ask, why do you keep them? Come on. Ship Arriving Too Late to Save a Drowning Witch has the famous hit Valley Girl. This is 1982. Yeah. The nadir of Zappa's catalog, as far as I'm concerned. The Man from Utopia. I really don't know what he was trying to do here. When did this come out? 83 on Barking Pumpkin. Maybe take a look at the label. Why not? Barking Pumpkin. Yeah, so, not only is he not playing the guitar and, prancing around singing really stupid shit, he's hired Steve Vai to transcribe Frank Zappa guitar solos and then play them back live. I think that's what's going on here. And it just sounds so stilted and weird and just... I really, really don't understand this record. I mean, and look at that cover. All right. And he follows us up with a okay double studio LP, Them or Us, 1984. You know, same sort of criticism. Got to take the good with the bad. And then a political statement. Frank Zappa meets the mothers of prevention. This is 1985. Contains some of his testimony before Tipper Gore's whole thing about censoring records. God, what a horrible thing that was. I remember those days. This is not a record I had in 1985. I'd given up on Frank at that point. But when I was buying back Zappa records, you know, I kind of just kept going. Here's Jazz from Hell. This is from 1986. This is... I need to listen to it again. I thought this was Synclavier stuff, but it looks like it's a band. It's been a long time since I listened to this. I should check this out. All right. Finally, here we are. The last Zappa vinyl album, Guitar. The follow-up to Shut Up and Play Your Guitar. This came out in 1988. Double LP. The CD is like twice as long. And if you're a fan of Frank's guitar soloing on Inca Roads, you know, you'll be really happy. There's also the last track, a really nice live version of Watermelon and Easter Hay, wherein Frank plays with some genuine emotion. Frank. You know, love him or hate him, I kind of wish he was around. He'd have something to say, I'm pretty sure. All right, folks, less than half an hour. That was pretty good. It's a lot of records. That was fun. And thank you, David Seqouiaflame, for inspiring me to get up on camera and do shit like this. Salud. All right, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for your comments. Really appreciate them. Sorry if I'm slow responding, but I do try to respond to everyone. Take care. I'll see you soon.